Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome to this whiskey review where today, here on the channel, we're going to be reviewing the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie. So this is a sample over here I got from a tasting back from Whiskey Show 2020. And this is from the Perfect Measure from the Whiskey Exchange. So this one is actually part of a tasting pack where we got to taste 6 different expressions from Ardbeg with Mickey Heads, who is now retired from the distillery. And it was actually a really fun tasting because you got to explore all the different whiskies from the Ardbeg core range, including the Ardbeg Ardbeg, which I'll also feature here on the channel at some point soon. I just need to find the sample. But anyway, if you did miss the video from the last episode, I'll leave it linked here in the top corner. Feel free to go and check it out, and you'll be able to see exactly what my opinions were on the Ardbeg An Oa, a no-age statement whiskey, which joined their core range. Now, the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie, this one, when I remember seeing the press release for this one, I was rather shocked, but at the same time rather happy, because it's not every day you see a distillery releasing a whiskey that's, 5 years old, which is quite a bold move. Many distilleries want to be, competing for that oldest whiskey that there is on the market, and Ardbeg went for something quite young. And when you have a young spirit, you're going to be able to try a lot more of the distillate, provided the casks haven't played too much of a massive influence in the whiskey. So, the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie, let me get into my review style structure. In terms of this one, it is a 5-year-old whiskey bottled at an ABV of 47.4%. Yep, 47.4%. The cask maturation for this one is in a combination of ex-bourbon barrels and ex-sherry barrels married together. The distillery itself is from the Ardbeg Distillery. They are owned by the parent company LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, and they are located on Islay in Scotland, so from the Islay region. Now, in terms of the price point on a full-size bottle, this one is actually something which I think they've done an amazing job with the pricing. This is priced around about £38 here in the UK, up to about 40, and on promotion, even I saw it on, I think it was Amazon, it went down to about £26 or £23. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that is a really good price for this whiskey. But anyway, I'll come to my concluding notes and I'll tell you whether it's worth it or not. But in terms of exclusivity, it's not an exclusive whiskey because it is joining their core range. Well, it has joined their core range, correct my grammar. So this one now joins the 10-year-old, the Uigeadail, the Corryvreckan, and also the An Oa. So 3 no-age statement whiskies and 1 age statement, and now it's 2 age statement whiskies. So great thing from Ardbeg. So now we have 5 whiskies to try from the Ardbeg core range at this point in my videos. So we have the 6th one joining very shortly. So without further ado, let's jump into the tasting notes and see what we find on the nose for the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie. Into the nose. So to begin things on the nose, for the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie, it is a rather of an actual wee beast in that sense, where you do get some of the softer characters, but then the pronounced characters coming through. On the nose, though, I'm going to compare it actually to the Uigeadail, to the An Oa. This one has got more of a vegetal smoke to it. The other one, I believe I said it had much more of an ashy smoke. This one's got more of a vegetal smoke going on about it. That medicinal TCP aspect. If you haven't heard of TCP, it's like, I don't know how you call it, but it's like a medicine almost, which you use when you've got sore throat. At the minute, I've got kind of borderline sore throat, but it's something you sort of gargle to get rid of your sore throat. Just reminds me of when I was a kid, you open the TCP, you smell, it's like, whoa. But at the same time, it's like, nowadays, it's like, whoa. So it's amazing how things change. And then behind that, you do also get that tarry note, but it's not heavy tar. It's more like that tarry rope that's been left there sitting for a while, and it's mellowed, and that tar is sort of integrated together in that rope. You are getting a little bit of spice. But again, black pepper, and this is black pepper, the actual full black pepper, not just the black pepper cones or black pepper balls. This is black pepper cones, so to speak. And I'm getting a very interesting character. For me, this reminds me of a permanent marker. It's going to sound weird, but one of those things when you're drawing and sometimes you use whiteboard markers. If you ever use a permanent marker, you always remember these, because sometimes when you draw in your hand and by accident you're like, oh crap, that one's never coming out. Permanent marker, that's a smell from a permanent marker. If you've got one, go pick one up. If you're tasting along with me, pick that one up and just have a sniff of that. Let me know what you think. So yeah, it's a rather interesting note. And I get citrus, lime, more towards, I say, lime peel, lime juice. And following on from that, I'm getting more towards now banana peel, pears, spice, poached pears. There's a little bit of even a slight sort of greeny note to it. It's interesting. I'm getting almost what reminds me of when you're doing the garden and you're cutting the stinging nettles and you weed whack them, you hit them with the strimmer, and you can just smell that greeny, I don't know, it's got an interesting character to a stinging nettle. It's very difficult to describe. If you're doing the garden and you cut a few stinging nettles, like a whole bunch of them, you'll smell that sort of aroma from the stinging nettles, which is very difficult to put into a specific category. And behind that, you're getting that sea salty note. But for me, I'm finding it much more milder, almost like a pink Himalayan sea salt. It's not so intense. And there is a little heathery, like a heathery honey, but heather honey, which I find sometimes very familiar in Highland Parks. I'm picking up actually in this. Lovely whiskey on the nose, beautiful. I'm looking forward to the palate. Fingers crossed, it's promising as well. So, into the palate, sláinte. So first impressions on the palate for the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie. Palate-wise, it does start out with a nice medium full texture. It's actually kind of silky. It's going, maybe you want to keep going back to the glass for another sip. But for me, it is spice forward at first. These spices, this is black pepper, probably pushing more towards white pepper. It's a bit milder. It's not as intense as the An Oa. And from there, you're getting these herbaceous notes. I'm getting fennel, adding a little bit of heat, ginger, and a little bit, for me, I don't know why, it's reminding me of thyme. Probably because I'm trying to plant a few herbs in the garden. Every time you just pick up, it's like, whoa, okay, that's interesting. So you learn about different things. I highly recommend if anyone hasn't got, even if you don't have a garden, just plant a few different herbs, and it's quite interesting to see how you pick up the different aromas from each one. From there, you're getting a bit of the citrus. You're going into citrus peel. You're getting limes, and this is predominantly limes, not lemons, not any other citrus fruit. For me, I'm finding lime. This is lime peel and lime juice. And then it does get a little bit of a bitter aspect. This is more now into black licorice, and it dries on the palate, which I'm associating more towards a black tea, like a kind of a strong Earl Grey tea. Maybe an British, what's it called? God, I can't remember even the tea name now. Wow. But yeah, let's go with Earl Grey. I was thinking of an English breakfast tea, that's it. Or somewhere on the lines of that. It reminds me of that. It's actually maybe not as powerful as Earl Grey. And it does have that soft tarry note behind it. And for me, I am getting also a little bit what I feel is more towards that sort of smoked fruit on the back end of this one. A combination with the spices and that citrus peel all together. So overall, quite a nice palate. But let's find what we have in the finish of this whiskey, and I'll give you my concluding notes into the finish. So to conclude on this Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie, after letting it roll in the palate for a little while, for me, I find the finish of this whiskey is borderline medium. I'd say short medium. It doesn't really hang around as much, as long as you'd like it to. And the flavour notes on the finish of this one, to me, it reminds me of smoked mackerel fillets, which have been sort of sprinkled with a little bit of red pepper or chili flakes. And you really just, when you're eating those, it reminds me of, that smoked fishy character, but at the same time, there's chili spice adding, a bit of heat to the side of the palate. And if you're not familiar with that, just think of Spanish jamon, which is the Spanish ham, the ham leg which you're cutting. In that one, you're getting that nice meaty character, a little bit of smoke that's on the side if you're actually smoking those. And then for me, I get that sort of, it's like cured meat where you get that saltiness from it. And it's also, that saltiness does come in on the end, and it's sort of not super salty, but it's almost salty to the point where it really marries all these flavors really well. And it makes your mouth almost water. It's actually enjoyable. It's like if you had pink Himalayan sea salt, you can actually taste that, and it doesn't feel, like normal table salt, which is, a really cool thing. Because for me, it's also pink Himalayan sea salt is also healthier for you, which is a great thing. So overall, in terms of my comment and overall opinion on this one, I've decided to give this one here 86 out of 100. I know some people have been asking me, Jason, can you please do a video on explaining flavor profiles? Because I think I got a comment recently on one of the videos saying, I love these whiskies, I'm just not able to pick up this same full range of tasting notes, and I really want to do that, but I can't go to the supermarket and film at the minute because of all the COVID restrictions. So fingers crossed when that's lifted, I'll do that for you guys. But anyway, to conclude this whiskey, 86 out of 100. When this first came out, I think on Whiskey Base, I gave this 82 or 83 points. I wasn't really chuffed about it. I wasn't, over the moon. As I sat with this dram, and I've actually got a bottle actually at home, this one has actually developed on me a lot more, and I find it much more approachable. And it's something that, for me, it does a really great job. And when it's on offer recently at £26, I was like, you know, that's a steal. You have to buy that because the liquid holds up to that value. To me, I think it's around about £35 tops, 32, 35. If it goes up to 40 plus, I'm probably going to say it's too much. So in terms of value for money at the moment, around about, say, £35, value for money. In terms of does it need water, does this one need time? Water for me is optional. It will take down that spice element. Time, personally, I think this is a whiskey you can just pour and go. It's really nice. For me, though, the actual only aspect on this one is the drying aspect on the palate. It does dry out rather quickly, and it doesn't allow you to really enjoy all those flavors on the palate. But the finish is great. The nose is great. So this one's an 86 out of 100. Let me know what you guys think if you have tried the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie down below in the comment section. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about some of these Ardbegs. And also let me know what your favorite Ardbeg is also down below in the comment section. If I haven't reviewed it, I'll try and review it soon. So without further ado, I will wrap up the video. Hopefully we haven't gone over 10 minutes because recording at the minute has been, I've been going over 20 minutes and I think it's only going to be cut down to about 10. So I'll wrap the video up at that. If you guys have enjoyed, drop the video a thumbs up as it helps the channel. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you'd like to stay up to date with upcoming videos. And I'll leave some other videos up on screen so you can check out some of the other Ardbeg reviews. But this has been me, JasonWhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next video. Slàinte.